Hello there, fellow Tibetians. Once again, I am Ibrahim Kareem, broadcasting to you live from London, England. Contributing my own little efforts to uplift the billion coin community and the population at large, as per our agenda here at the TBC. Yes, I'm speaking on motivation, and I want to give us several stories of motivations that have lifted people up. Because there will be several of us here in the community that are struggling to combine our job, the present job that we haven't left yet, family, and trying to build your TBC business. So it might be daunting to several people, but my effort here is to encourage them not to give up and to gear them up, because we find out that adversity strengthens people. Not that we should go about looking for difficulties, but whenever and as that when we find ourselves in difficult circumstances, in tough times, in harsh times, these are the times that build the person, that strengthens our personality, and invariably serves to raise us. So we shouldn't despair. We shouldn't uh, run away from difficulties. We should meet them heads on, and we will be better for it. And it will make us appreciate the good times and the easy times. So I'm going to start off by telling us about Dr. Ben Carson. Most of us know Dr. Ben Carson as the present Secretary of Housing, the American Secretary of Housing present under present day President of America, Trump. In Dr. Ben Carson's own words, he said, "I struggled academically throughout my school days. And he later became the best neurosurgeon in the world by 1987. Can we imagine that? Somebody that struggled at school. By this struggle, we assume, among others, that he wasn't an A student, probably middle ranking. Yet later he was able to be the best neurosurgeon in the world in 1987. He was given that honor. Now imagine he had given up in school because he was struggling. Imagine he had abandoned his preference to go into medicine and surgery, where will he be now? He wouldn't be a doctor and would definitely not be the present Secretary of Housing in the United States of America. So we shouldn't give up on our dreams. TBCians, no matter how difficult it is for you now, you have to go on. You have to take the next step. Don't give up. If you fall down in the process, if you fall down 10 times, make sure you get up the 11th time, okay? Don't stay down. It's when you stay down that you have failed. When you get up again, you're still in the game and you still have opportunity to come out as a winner. Yeah. Struggling is a sign that you are on the verge of success. Do not quit. You will get there. No struggle, no success. Oprah Winfrey, the American talk show hostess, we're all familiar with her. In her own words, Oprah said she was raped at the age of 9 years old. And yet, despite this trauma, she is now one of the most influential women in America and in the world. Not only influential, rich, one of the richest women in America. Now, she could have allowed herself to be defined by that rape incident at the tender age of 9, but she didn't. She refused. She struggled and she conquered. She conquered the American media. She got her own talk show. And even before then, she was refused jobs as a newscaster. She didn't allow that to stop her. Rather, she set up her own network. And at the end of the day, she was the better for it. So, TBCians, wherever you may be in your struggles, whatever stage you may be right now, don't let it define you. It is not the end of the journey. It is not the end of the journey until the last day when we breathe our last breath. When you still have the human, when you still have the human vitality in you, when you still have the breath of life in you, you have to go on. You keep the faith and keep on struggling. So TBCians out there now who are struggling to set up their business should note that the sky is the limit. They shouldn't give up. Continue combining all your struggles And finally, you shall overcome. You shall overcome. Don't let your past decide your future. Don't let it define you. As Oprah made him could have made herself a victim. She could have be crying or identify herself as a rape victim and just crawl up and let herself be defined by that. No, she refused to. She got up, stood up, brushed herself off, and continued. Now, I mean, you can see where Oprah is at the moment. There is no, there is very few women in America who could stand our influence and have the same wealth as she does. So the struggle should always continue. Tibetians, the sky is the limit for us. We should grab this opportunity with both hands and build our business. Whatever you may be experiencing now should not define you, should not be the end of your life. Don't let it be a rope that ties you down. Continue the journey. It is the end that matters. Yeah, Bill Gates, we all know, probably the second or the third richest person in the world now. He never finished college. He dropped out of university. Yes, Bill Gates dropped out of Harvard in order to pursue his dreams. So we might have many of us in the TBT community who are dropouts, who never finished universities. We don't have degrees, and we probably have complex that how will I be able to make it in the world? How will I be able to hold up my shoulders high? Don't wonder about that. Just continue the struggle. The billion coin community, all Tibetians out there know that if Bill Gates can drop out of university and yet go on to make his fortune as one of the three richest person in the world today, anything can happen. We too can become millionaires. Yes, and even billionaires. That is the agenda of the billion coin. And we would help to build this agenda. At the very least, we have the chance to be millionaires. I am one of the potential millionaires, and you too should be. You should be eager to be a TBC billionaire. Do not give up. Continue building your business. Continue the journey. The sky is the limit for us here in the billion coin community. Others have made it. We too, we can make it. School does not make you rich. Yes, that is the lesson from Bill Gates dropping out of Harvard to become a millionaire, nay, a billionaire. School doesn't make you rich. School is only to polish what you have so that you can be a refined individual. Lucky if you are able to pass through the four corners of the university to get that done. If not, your education doesn't end with your schooling. There is self education, there is self learning. This is done through books. There are wells of knowledge out there. There are tons of knowledge out there by individuals who have succeeded, individuals who have gone through thick and thin and have put down their experiences and have put down the way in books. We ought to cultivate the habit of reading. Yes, daily reading. Another rich individual, Warren Buffett, one of the three richest individuals in the world, has a reading habit of reading 2 to 3 hours a day. When a minimum of 2 to 3 hours, at times he read beyond that. This is a man who is a billionaire. This is a man in his 80s. Many of us in such position would never ever read a page of book again in our life. That shouldn't be. Learning doesn't stop with school. Learning is a daily habit because there are new things out there every day. So why do you want to make yourself outdated? We should never stop learning. Another individual we might have heard of is an American, she, Joyce Meyer. In her own word, I quote, "I was sexually, mentally, emotionally, and verbally abused by my father as far back as I can remember until I left home at the age of 18. Yet now, she's an influential preacher in America." That is what can happen when you don't give up on your dreams. When you plod on, continue, and struggle on, good things come to those that keep on. We shouldn't give up on our dreams, no matter how difficult it may be at the present times. TBCians should not give up on the TBC community. They should not give up building their business, even a step at a time. As far as you continue, never stop. Continuing gradually will get you there. As I always say, a journey of 1,000 miles just begin with a step. Step by step, you get there. We all know, we might have heard of the story of Cristiano Ronaldo. They were very poor, and that was why he took up football. He told his father that he was going to be very rich one day. It turned out so, which briefly reminds me of another thing, that there is power in our tongue. There is power in the words we utter. We should utter only goodness and positive words about ourselves. Yeah, we shouldn't utter negativities, because they have a very, very funny way of coming true. The universe conspires to bring our words into fruition. So we should be careful about what we utter. Lionel Messi, too, a great footballer, he said, "I used to serve tea at a shop to support my football career." And now he's one of the world's best footballers. He never allowed being a waiter to define him. He combined waiter, his waiter job with his football training, and he went on to be one of the best footballer in the world. So don't let our present circumstance define us. We might be out of work now. We might be homeless. We might even be struggling to feed. Let that be a temporary situation in your life, which you will look back on with amazement, and it will be a story for you to tell. It will be a story for you to tell your children and the grandchildren later in life. Never let adversity define you. The late Steve Jobs of Apple had his own story to tell. Yeah. He said, and I quote, "I used to sleep on the floor in my friends' rooms, returning Coke bottles for food, money, and getting weekly free meals at a local temple. I later on founded Apple Company." See, by sleeping on the floor in his friend's room, we can assume he was homeless at a particular time. He wasn't sleeping on the street, he had a friend to take him in. But he didn't let that define him. He was returning Coke bottles for food and money. That was definitely a low period in his life. Yet, yet he went on to become the CEO of Apple and invented all these wonderful items for us. The iPhone, the iPad, even the iPod too. It will always be remembered. Uh, the former British Prime Minister Tony Blair also had a story, and I quote, "My teachers used to call me a failure." Can we imagine a former prime minister? He was labeled a failure in school, yet he became a prime minister of one of the greatest nations on earth, United Kingdom. So don't let your past define you. Don't let people's label define you. Your teacher might have called you a dunce, of failure, that you never amount to anything, that shouldn't define you. Don't let it ever define you. That is their wordings, that is their labeling. You can rise above that. So many people have rose about, they've rose above that. One of Africa's foremost bishop, Bishop David Oyedepo of the Winners Chapel, he started the church from a lawn tennis court with 3 members. Today, the church is a million members fold with 2 world-class universities to their name. They have a Covenant University and another university in Nigeria, and is one of the biggest church in the country. Imagine that. You can rise from obscurity. You can rise from being a non-entity to become rich, to become famous, to become world renowned. So don't let whatever you are struggling with at the moment. My message to TBCians is, don't let whatever you're struggling with at the moment define you. Let it be a temporary chapter in your book of life. You might be poor today, doesn't mean you will be poor forever. It doesn't mean you will be poor tomorrow. You might be hungry today, have no food to eat. Doesn't mean you can't be a millionaire. That is just the present chapter of your life. It doesn't have to define you. It doesn't have to stop you. So TBCians should be wary of people who try and stop them in their journey. They should be wary of people who are discouraging them from building their business. They should be wary of people who are not able to see the future in the billion coin business at the moment. They shouldn't listen to those naysayers. Rather, they should be with the community of positive TBCians, like-minded people who will be able to assist with enlightenment, who will be able to assist with inspiration on their journeys. TBC is the future. However, not all of us can see a long way into the future. It takes a particular foresight to be able to see way beyond the present. And most of us are not gifted with this insight. So we should not be discouraged. We should persevere in our journey and know that the end is what matters. The end of the journey is when you have succeeded. It is when you have made it. It is when you have become a millionaire with the billion coin. And for those who can go beyond that, they can be billionaires. There is enough for us in the TBC community. We are on this journey to create millionaires and billionaires. There is enough to go around. So TBCians, there is no competition among us. We are all in it together to assist, to encourage, to lift each other up. We should desist from the pulling down mentality. There is enough to go around, and we will get there. My fellow TBCians, I hope you have been motivated as I have. If you have enjoyed my broadcast, subscribe to my channel, press the like button, and you set a reminder for future broadcasts. Once again, I am Ibrahim Kareem, broadcasting to you live from London, England. Thank you, and God bless.